Do you ever wish that you could be a fly on the wall and see what successful independent retailers are doing to build their stores? If you wish that you could have that behind the scenes, pull back the curtain moment and get some insight on what seven-figure independent retailers are doing, then this is the episode for you. At Evolve, I had a panel of successful independent retailers. The qualification was they had to at least be doing $1 million in revenue. And so on this panel, they're doing at least 1 million. There is multiple million that they're doing with these retail stores. And my whole goal was like, let's share. How'd you get there? What did you do? How did you build your store to be at this level? And, do you believe in new levels, new devils? What have you seen for your store? How is your team structured? What are you doing? What does your team do? Marketing advice and events, community. I mean, we talk about a lot in this panel, and I love having these conversations of successful retailers. Like, how did they do it? We want to know, we want to break it down so we can understand what we can do for our businesses. And so I wanted to share this on the podcast with you as well. All three of my panelists have been on the show before. And so if you love this episode, then you got to go back and listen to their 3 episodes as well. We'll link it in the show notes. But we have Barb Binkley with Cooper and Binkley's Jewelers, who also did my engagement ring and wedding ring. And on her individual episode, we talked a lot about community involvement. We have Beth Rich with Mix It Up Home and Mix It Up Gift. And Beth, on her individual episode, we talked about events, which was really been a popular episode for the show. And then we have Miranda Heslip with Nine Pajamas. And in her episode, we talked a lot about marketing and email marketing. And so these 3 ladies they're in different categories. They're in different parts of the country, and Miranda's in Canada. And it's a different take on how they have built their success in their stores. And you get to be the fly on the wall and tune in. So let's dive into today's episode. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Crystal Vilkaitis, the Wolf of Main Street, and this is Rooted in Retail. I am so excited for this panel. I love bringing retailers to other retailers. And what I hear all the time is, I just wish I had more time to talk to retailers and hear what they're doing. You guys are so busy in your stores that you often don't have that opportunity. So we get this opportunity, and you get to be a fly on the wall and learn from these lovely ladies. So I'm going to have you ladies kick it off and just take about 30 seconds, 60 seconds. Tell us about your store and you, and Barb, I'll have you start.
Barb Binkley, and our store is Cooper and Binkley Jewelers, and we are in downtown Brighton, Michigan, which is in southeastern Michigan. We're celebrating 76 years this year. We are really, really involved in our community. We love our community. Our community loves us. We've gone through the highs and lows with them. And I think that's really a testament to my team. We've got an incredible staff. And so all of the things that have happened at retail when we, went through the pandemic and whatever, I mean, we've survived it all. And just being part of the community was really what did that for us.
Amazing. Awesome.
I'm Miranda Heslip. I am one of the owners of Nine Pajamas. We are a sister-run pajama store in Canada. So we specialize in everything comfy, cozy. It is the comfy pajamas that we specialize in. And we also specialize in moisture-wicking sleepwear for menopausal women going through cancer treatments or certain medications that can cause you to have night sweats. So that's something that's really important to us, is really impacting the quality of life of our customers through their sleep. And I've actually known Crystal since 2015. So we have a long history with Crystal and absolutely love what she does. So I'm excited to be here.
I'm Beth Rich, and I own 2 stores in downtown Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. I would say if you can spell it, you can live there. And we'd love to have you come and live there. So a resort town in northern Idaho. 6.5 years ago, I bought a gift store. It was home decor and gift, and it had been there for 10 years. So we are coming up on our 17 years of Mix It Up being in downtown Coeur d'Alene. And 2 years ago, and next week, I had an opportunity to lease 3,000 square feet, 2 blocks down on the same side of the street in downtown Coeur d'Alene, and we opened a lifestyle home store. So we broke the brand in half. We now have Mix It Up Gift and Mix It Up Home.
Thank you for being here, ladies. I'm excited for this. I also have to say that Dustin got my engagement ring and wedding ring from Barb, who did an amazing job.
Thank you.
And I also have moisture wicking pajamas from Miranda. I got to get something from you, Beth.
Yeah.
I got to come shop. All right. I want to ask you ladies the same question I opened with our other panel, because I just feel like it's so great to help us just not worry about something. So Barb, I'd love for you to kick us off. What's something retailers worry about that actually isn't worth their energy?
I would say competition. Jewelry is a very competitive business. Sometimes we're getting one shot with a customer and that's it. It's the engagement ring. And I would say, like, know your competition, know who they are, know what they're doing, but don't let that dictate what you do.
Yeah. I am going to do a little bit of a blanketed answer in the sense that we treat everything that comes up as a data point and to just use it as a decision-making point and move on. And so I just think really anything that comes up in your business, don't stress about it. Make an action plan and move forward. A lot of times we wallow in it, and it's just make an action plan and move forward is our biggest kind of statement that we did at Cloud9.
Yeah, you take out the emotion.
Yeah.
When you do that.
It's so easy to get emotional about, it's your baby, right? It's so easy to get emotional about little things, whether it's staff, whether it's what's happening in the world. And it's just, what are we going to do about it?
Yep. Awesome. What about you, Beth?
And I would say that they talked about this in the other panel was we worry about what we can control. And so I always say, imitation is the highest form of flattery, but we have a very successful store. So when other shops come and shop us, and I had a kitchen store that opened and their bags, except for the name of their business, look exactly like my bags, their tissue, I was like, okay, I'm trying to be, and finally I'm reading Mel Robbins, Let Them. And I was just like, okay, whatever, let them, so at some point in time, you just have to just let them.
Yeah, that's so true. Okay. I love it. Now, what about as you reflect on your success and your journey in building these stores, is there a pivotal decision or moment that you feel truly propelled your growth forward? And Beth, I'll have you start.
I love that you asked this question because it made me think about it and it made me reflect back on 6.5 years. Kathy, I stole it from you, but I'm an accidental retailer. And so when I reflected back, what I realized is a blessing for me is that my pivotal moment happened the day I bought the store. I bought the store from a woman who had 35 years of retail experience. She was a good buyer, but no one even knew what she looked like. Reps didn't know what she looked like, and she wasn't an active owner. She wasn't in the store. And the day I bought the store, I was in the store every single day. And the analogy I use when I talk with my salespeople is I say, imagine that your store is, the front door of your store is the front door of your home, because for me, that is like my home. And so if I was in my backyard with a rake and I had my door ajar because I was expecting somebody, first of all, I would never just let them walk in and not acknowledge them. Secondly, I would never yell from the backyard, hey, welcome in. I'm going to put my rake down. I'm going to walk to the front door and I'm going to say, welcome to my home, because my store is my home. Yeah. I started treating my store that way the day I bought the business, and it set a tone. And we've just recently done the analytics on returning customer percentages. I was listening to a podcast and somebody, I can't give it credit to anybody, but the statistics I heard was that in small independent retail, the returning customer rate is less than 20%.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh my gosh. So I did a real deep dive, and the year I bought the store, we were less than 20%. And over the last 6 years, we have continually increased that rate, and our current customer return rate is almost 70%.
Wow.
Our rate in the summertime, I'm in a resort town in the summertime, so June, July, and August, I have people who come to Coeur d'Alene on their one vacation and they're never coming back. So if you look at the people who live where I live, our returning customer rate is probably almost close to 90%. And it's because we welcome them in and we do that. We do that whole thing.
Yeah.
So
they immediately made the change. That's awesome. What about you, Miranda?
So for us, the biggest factor was when we started taking learning seriously. So I'm ashamed to admit it. So we've been doing this for about 15 years. When the store wasn't busy, when we first started, I'd be watching Netflix. I would be doing whatever on the internet and not taking our business seriously. And the second that we started taking learning seriously, it evolved our business. It got us in it. It got us being active participants in our business. Mm-hmm. And we started just exploding because of it.
Wow. Yeah. It's so critical. It's easy to push that aside and not invest the time, but you don't know what you don't know. And I know you guys have been really focused with learning. So it's awesome. What about you, Barb?
Goes back a while, but I think it was when social media really took off. At that point that we had a great way to get our message out to people. So I've always been in marketing, and I was in marketing before I married my husband and married into the jewelry business, but it was a great way for us to get that marketing message out. So I pulled myself off the sales floor. And like Corinne was just talking about in the workshop that I was in, I became someone who worked on my business and not in my business. I'm in there often. I spend as many hours as I did, but it really pulling myself off the sales floor and really focusing on marketing has given me the ability to be creative and to really work on our growth.
Yeah, because to have a multiple 7-figure business is going to require you to work on your business. It's going to require learning. It's going to require retention. And so we have to really focus on those areas. So good. Okay, so Barb, let's stick with you. Jewelry retail requires a deep customer trust and relationships. What's your top strategy for creating and maintaining customer loyalty and community support, enabling consistent, sustainable growth?
We have a few strategies, and honestly, it's written into our mission statement. The first line of our mission statement is that we are committed to our community, our customers, and each other. So our people are all on board with that. When we hire, we look for somebody who is of that mindset. We just really treat people really well. And just like Beth was saying, that's exactly what we do. We would not sit back in our living rooms and let someone meander their way through our house. We have what we call store floor non-negotiables. And so we greet people out on the floor. We greet people within 5 seconds. If we're all tied up and if we're all with a customer, one of us will look up and say, someone will be with you in just a moment. They know they've been seen and they know that we're going to get to them. We walk them to the door at the end of our transaction together. So we really work on building that relationship. And then also for us, giving back is a big part of who we are. It's also in our mission statement. Our customers know that. We're known for that in the community. We're respected for that. And then we really work hard to get that message out. So if you look at our social media, we're not like pushing jewelry. We're talking about our staff. We're talking about our customers. We're showing our engagement customers and their proposal pictures. And of course, we're showing jewelry too, but we're really sort of building who we are in social media, not just pushing our product.
Yeah. You have a community. You're showing that online. Plus, mission statement, which I think is interesting. How many of you have a mission statement that you remember? Like, you know it? You could recite it? I think there's opportunities there. Like, you know it. It sets the culture, right? Yeah.
So when we wrote the mission statement, we did it together as a team. We wrote our vision together as a team. And we literally have those sheets, and they're pretty tattered now, but we have those sheets taped on the walls in the back room still.
Yeah, that's how we really instill the change, and everybody's marching to the same beat. I was going to say marching to the same drum of the beat.
And like I said, I'm not in the store all the time. So we have to count on our people to be relaying the same feel, the same message, the same, interaction that we want. And so we constantly train. We do weekly meetings.
Okay. Once a week, standing meeting, all staff?
All staff is either every other or every third, but sales is and we have 5 full-time people on the sales floor. So it's really important that we're all on that same page and that they're able to, provide that same level of service.
Yeah. Okay. Amazing. And I should have asked this earlier, but could you all share the size of your teams? Because I think that would be helpful too.
So there's 12 of us full-time. We have 5 on the sales floor. 1 is our sales manager and then 4 full-time salespeople. I have 3 bench jewelers in my shop and I have 2 full-time people in the office. 1 is a bookkeeper and the other is our inventory coordinator.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have managers at all of our locations, and then we also have a dedicated e-com manager and social media. And then altogether, we range, so we're very Q4 heavy. So we go up to about 50 employees in Q4.
Wow.
And then the rest of the year, we're sitting around between 15 to 20.
Yeah, we hit about 14. I have a store manager who manages both stores for me. I have a bookkeeper who handles all of that offsite, but then that leaves us with about 12 sales associates.
Okay. Awesome. Now, Miranda, running multiple stores and growing an e-com presence alongside family members requires great teamwork. What's your secret to leading your team, especially family members, and how do you keep everybody aligned and motivated?
It's pretty nice because no my other sisters are here to say anything else. I get to say what I want. No, I've talked to many people here that have been in family businesses as well, and you know that there is pros and cons to that. It kind of goes with the first question you asked us of what changed, what was the biggest pivotal moment. And for us, that's something that has been so transformative and stayed since the beginning. So we did it about 10 years ago, was implementing EOS. So entrepreneurial operating system, and having structure in our business, an accountability chart, regular occurring meetings, and all being on the same page towards our growth. And that's changed over the years. So we have had up to 5 locations and an e-com store. Now we're down to 3 locations in our e-com store, but we've moved into the wholesale space as well because we've started to design and manufacture our own pajamas. So it's transformed in different ways, but we've always had this consistent kind of program or system that we follow, and it transforms with us and it keeps us all on the same page. And there's obviously disagreements and different things that come up. We have a way to work through them.
Yeah. I love how just data-oriented, systems-oriented, and you really do have to, especially, again, when you're building this size of a business, it will break. I just don't think you can get to that level without those things. So,
and we really have built our business to run without us. If we want to go on a family vacation, all of us together, our business runs. We have everything documented. And one of the things that I learned from Bob Nagin was, because we struggle with it, because you're dealing with staff members who are human beings and they have their own history and path. And so, hey, could you wash the windows? You come back and you're like, did they even wash the windows? Do they know how to wash the windows? Let's show them this is how we wash a window here at Cloud9. We have it documented down to a T so that even though we still show them, it's not like we're like, hey, here's the employee manual. We still go through it with them, but it's also all documented so that it's not in our brain. We're not having to remember anything. We are like system and documentation heavy. Yeah.
Yeah. The details though, but then that allows for the freedom.
Yeah, exactly. We built it so that, and we're still very heavily involved, but we built it so that if we need to step away or do things, we can do that.
That's so good. Okay. Beth, you tripled sales in 3 years, sister. Go girl. And with no prior retail experience, by the way, which is amazing. We know that events play such a big role. Like you are the events queen. So what else though has contributed? Because I know like 70 events, right? I mean, I don't know if you're doing even more this year. Just so more than 70 events a year, Beth Rich does. So what else though? What else is working to your growth?
So the average 3 to 4 year old asks the question why 200 to 300 times a day. So ask any mother of a 3 to 4 year old and they will collaborate on that. And I would say it was because I asked why. I didn't even know what a purchase order was. I had never clocked in and clocked out. I had no retail experience. I had 35 years of sales and marketing experience. And so I walked in the door without a retail background and I said, why don't we participate in Art Walk? And why don't we call a musician and have live music for Art Walk? And why don't we contact a local real estate agent and have them pay us $200 and we'll buy champagne and they can serve it and they can meet our customers who are visiting from out of town in the summertime? And why don't we paint that wall black? And why don't we carry all of the sizes of the gurgle pots? And why don't we have all the colors of the gurgle pots? And why don't we make a better table for our candles so that all the back stock is right underneath and we don't have to run from the back of the store to the front of the store? And I just kept asking why. And then every time I asked why, we kept transforming. And so I would say that in addition to the secret sauce of adding our events, at the end of last year, my store manager asked me if I wanted to know how much money we spent on live music last year. And I said, nope, you can keep that to yourself. I don't need to know. But we host almost 75 events at our gift store. And then we have events down at our home store in addition. So, but it was asking why. And so I would challenge you when you come up against something, it's that classic, that's the way we've always done it.
Right, exactly.
And so I would question you to be inquisitive and ask why or why not? Why don't we try this? Why aren't we doing that? And use that to help you grow.
It's so true. It's like this word. Why not? What if, right? Get curious. We got to get curious. We are excited because we are introducing our next therapist/doctor for retail therapy, Bob Phibbs, the retail doctor. Bob, what can people expect?
Oh my goodness, we're going to have fun. I'm so glad to be invited, Crystal. And I think one of the things, if you know me, when I've done my Facebook Lives, you might have seen me on a speech somewhere, is I kind of cut to the chase really quick and I ask a lot of questions. Why are you doing this? Why aren't you doing this? And from that, it might not feel great. It might feel like a little bit of a hot seat, right, Crystal? But the goal is that you walk away and say, wow, that's something I learned, even though I wasn't the one in the hot seat. How's that? So you'll be able to learn and listen and do something different in your retail business. So I'm excited to be here. And I know we have several victims. I mean, we have several people that have signed up already. So we get to start rolling that out shortly. So
yes, we do.
Keep tuned.
I am so excited. I've had the opportunity to listen to your podcast and your lives, and you're just a wealth of information and really tell it like it is. And that's exactly what we're looking for on the show, to help our retailers move forward and just build better businesses or overcome the challenge that they are currently in. So I'm so grateful to have you. These episodes are going to start airing in mid-August 2025. So be sure to tune in to the Rooted in Retail podcast and look for Retail Therapy, our special segment. Bob and I will see you there.
Bye.
All right. I want to know from you all, owner tasks versus team tasks, which we talked a little bit about that, but how do you spend your typical week? Will you share a few critical tasks you believe owners should never fully outsource and a few tasks you always delegate? And I'm going to have you start, Beth.
I spoke last year, and so if you were here, you heard me talk about knowing what your superpower is and knowing what your kryptonite is. So I would encourage you, I do the things that are my superpower. I do the things that I'm really good at. I'm good at buying. And so now I have an associate who does all the reordering, but I go to markets and I set the tone for the year. Twice a year, I set the tone for all the greeting cards that we're going to buy. And then, people reorder, but I do all the buying because that's what I'm good at. And I'm good at displays. I've run out of time and I now have great teams. If I do great buying, my team can do a great display because I've given them everything that they need to build a display. Because I just say, hey, do a black and white with a little accent of red, and they just start shopping around the store and they can put together a fabulous display, but it starts with great buying. I delegate my kryptonite, which for me, it is the processes, it's the accounting. I have a bookkeeper. I never pay a bill, and she doesn't let me. She knows better. So I would say, it depends on you and your personality. Do the things that you love. It's the thing that will keep you so passionate about your business if you can keep hold of the thing that you love and the thing that you're really good at. But get rid of as quick as you can. I paid every single bill for one whole year when I bought the business because I didn't have any retail experience. And I said, I made myself a deal. I said, if you pay your every bill for one whole year, then you can hire an accountant. And so I did because it was all my money and I needed to know where it was going.
Right.
But as soon as you can let go of the things that you aren't good at, and then for goodness sakes, hire people who are good at the things that you aren't good at.
Yeah, totally. Miranda.
Yeah, I agree. I'm the same. We've done Colby tests to know what our strengths are, and we work towards those because you do so much better when you do and delegate out the rest. One thing that we also are very big on is making sure that we are, as a family, because we're a family-run business, being in content and making sure that we're showing our face. That's how we have been able to grow. So one of the things that I, on a day-to-day now, work mostly on our higher level stuff. So issues, things that we're working towards, those bigger things. And then we have an amazing marketing manager that helps with all of our marketing. And so I'm still in there doing content with her. I'm in most of the photos. One of my sisters are in most of the photos. So keeping our face there is really important. But we're working on those higher level things so that we can, again, not work in our business because then we can't work on it, right? So it's having people that can do those things that are a little bit more tedious and happening all the time where we can work on that higher level stuff. And a lot of retailers that I talk to struggle with finding someone to do their social media. Do you guys struggle with that at all, right? Finding someone to do content because content is never ending and you always want to be pumping it out. We had always struggled with that. I'd always done all of our marketing. And I kind of ran into a pickle when I was going on maternity leave and I thought I had someone that was going to be doing all of the marketing. And it turned out like 2 weeks before I was ready to deliver, exploded and had no one. So I was panicking, thinking that I was going to have no one to do it. And I was thinking, what can't I do? Because as a business owner, we didn't even really take a maternity leave. But I was like, what can't I do when I have the baby? And it was make content. Mm-hmm. So the first thing that I did was, if I can only find someone to make content and send me the rest and I can do the rest from in bed or whatever, I can do that. So my biggest tip too for finding someone is I want to like the content that they make for us. So I actually went and searched our local area and said influencers in our area and found someone that I liked, that their content and their style and it fit us. And then reached out to her. She's sitting in the front row here. She's been with us for 18 months because my daughter is 18 months. And she's amazing. And she has been able to do all of the marketing and learn it. And she had skills that were able to do that. But the one thing that was a non-negotiable for me was the content. I needed her to have the style and what we were looking for. So using Instagram was kind of like her portfolio to be able to find someone. So yeah, that's a tip that I have too, is finding someone that way.
For sure. How many of you would love to find a Sydney and find somebody that would really help you? One person? We tired, guys. We got to keep this energy going. Yes. Okay. Cause I know that's such a big pain point. And typically the business owner shouldn't be doing all the content, taking it, editing it, posting it. Like that's not the best use of your time. So finding that person now and using the influencer and looking within the community that they're already doing this. You don't have to teach them. Do they align with your brand? That's the way. And I feel.
Yeah. And sorry, too, can clarify, we hired her in full time. So it's not like it's not an influencer partnership. Like she is on our team full time. So that's a little bit different. We do influencer partnerships as well, but it was finding someone. And you might have to she was the first person I reached out to. It literally was like heaven sent and it just worked out perfectly. But you might have to reach out to a couple of people and they might have other stuff going on or whatnot. But someone can say they can do great content and it's hard for you to be like, show me if they don't, right? So finding someone where they have some content to show you how they do it. Does it align with you? And will it show what you want?
Yeah.
To piggyback just on that, and I will jump to our level of responsibilities in our business, but I actually have an agency under contract.
Okay.
They are a creative and PR firm out of Detroit that my son happens to work for. So, and his degree is in animation with a minor in video production. So I actually contract them to send him to me. And then he has a coworker who does editing and posting for me as well. So
awesome.
I don't have them in-house anymore. I used to have someone in-house, but it takes a village. I mean, you can't just do it on your own. Obviously, I'm involved in all of that planning.
Yeah.
And I'm on camera a lot in what we're filming, but you got to have help if you're going to do it.
You really do.
So as far as responsibilities go, my husband and I co-own together. We have very different responsibilities. He is operations. So he's there in the store every day.
Okay.
He's kind of troubleshooting. He grades diamonds. He does some appraisal work, although we do have an appraiser as well. But I sort of run the business of the business. I do the hiring. I oversee marketing. I oversee legal and financial. I am our buyer. So I'm able to do the things that I do creatively without having to be in the trenches every day, which is really helpful.
Yeah.
And then as far as delegating, we sort of have built-in delegation because I'm a firm believer in everybody staying in their lane. So I want to keep their skill set in the best possible position for them. So we don't, for example, have a salesperson who's doing administrative work. Our salespeople are highly trained. They're highly skilled. We want them selling.
Yep.
That's how they best benefit the company. That's how they best earn for themselves.
Yeah.
We don't bring our office out to the sales floor. We don't bring our bench jewelers out to the sales floor. So everybody pretty much has a skill set and that's where they stay. That's what they do. So we have sort of a built-in delegating.
Yeah. Do you guys have advice for the store owner that maybe has a couple people, small team, but they do want to grow, but it's like, well, I have a small team, so I have a lot of responsibilities for each of the people. And I know that some, they're very in the weeds. It's not their strength. How do you kind of transition from being in that position to that next level where you're fully focused on sales and you're fully focused here versus dishing that out?
I feel like it has to be a little at a time. Like if you see something that they excel in, like try to find something more that they can do in that area until you're able to add and grow. I mean, we started very small too. I think there were, when my husband and I bought my father-in-law out, I think there were maybe 4 employees.
Okay.
And I think we probably did about 1/10 of the business that we do now.
Okay.
And that was a long time ago. But I think if you can at least like see where their interests are and sort of try to find something that they can do in that realm.
One thing I actually do want to ask you, Miranda, curiosity of just how do you go from a few to then having dedicated people? And then also you mentioned Colby, and people might not know what that is.
Yeah, of course. So Colby is kind of like a personality test, but it's not based on personality. It's based on your strengths. So it's based on I'm not going to remember them all, but like I'm a quick start. So when I think of something, I want to take action. So that's what I was saying. Like we don't wallow in stuff. We take action.
Yeah.
And so again, as a family business, we figured out who each of us are as individuals and what our strengths are and where that aligns. And so when we do EOS, so we use Gino Wickman's book. It's called Traction. Highly recommend. Transformed our business, get systems in place. And to me, it doesn't matter how small you are, because that's a lot of times people are like, we're not big enough to have a accountability chart or whatnot. But how are you going to grow if you don't know where it's going to go, right? So it's still building it out and having the knowledge of it so that when you are growing, you have that knowledge already instead of having to catch up.
Yeah.
And so we use our accountability chart and it stays within your lane. And then it doesn't mean you're in charge of it. So again, we're delegating, but in the end, it is on you. Is it done? Has it been done? You may have had someone else do it or you outsourced it, but just keeping that alignment of this falls under this person, because it's so easy to get pulled in different directions. And we get still caught in different directions always. It's as business owners we do, but just trying to, again, work at our strengths and be aligned in what our accountability is and kind of move forward with that. And then Gino Wickman, again, my biggest advice is to read that book. He has one that is Get a Grip, and the other one is One of them is like a story about it. And then the other one is how to actually implement EOS. And then you can also find someone, there's people here that do EOS implementation. If you want to hire someone to do that and help you with your business that way, it just structures it and frees up your mind.
Yeah.
My biggest thing is I don't want to have stuff in my mind. I want to have stuff documented so that I don't have to keep it buried in there. Because as you can tell when I just asked her, what did you just ask? I don't got the best memory. So I like to have it documented somewhere, and then it helps everyone.
Yeah. Maybe have heard this before. New levels, new devils. Like when we reach that next level of success, there's a whole nother set of challenges that we have. So I would love to know from each of you, from your experience, do bigger successes truly bring bigger challenges? And can you briefly share a major new challenge you faced as your revenue was growing and you overcame it? And I'll start with you, Miranda.
But yeah, my sister always goes around our office, more money, more problems. That's true. Yeah, so one of the things that we faced recently was transitioning. So we had always wanted to have multiple stores, go up to 10 stores, if not more. That was our goal. And so we got to 5 stores. 3 of them are brick and mortar, like standalone boutique stores. And then 2 of them we opened in malls and quickly realized that malls were not for us. We're a luxury price point and it just wasn't for us. And with that, again, you have these dreams. So closing 2 stores feels like you're not moving forward, right? And so that feels like a setback. And it really was a blessing. Like you said, change is a blessing. And we have then pivoted to designing our own brands, manufacturing our own brands. They're all named after family members of ours. And then wholesaling. So with wholesale, we are now in a totally different industry. I know there's some wholesalers here too, but you're doing things differently. And we're doing a hybrid of the two because we have our retail stores and wholesale. But we had to learn a new division of our company. And then we also had to all the systems and accountability that we were talking about for our core fundamentals that we do really well. We had to build out for this new arm of our company and learn stuff. So I would say there is new levels, new devils, but you've made it through so much. And so it's just always figuring out and learning and finding new things. So it is true, but you work through it.
Yeah, for sure. What about you, Beth?
And I would say I bought my store in the fall of 2018, and 19, 20, and 21, we tripled our sales in 3 years. And so quite honestly, I confess that we were happy, fat, and lazy. We were just like, well, this is awesome. And then the opportunity came. The original store was home decor and gift. And I always tell everybody a decorative pillow takes up a lot of room in a gift store. And so the opportunity that we got a little full, and the opportunity came up to open our second store 2 blocks down. And I always say not 2 Chicago blocks, 2 Coeur d'Alene blocks. So they're just practically next door to each other. But the day I opened my second store, my expenses doubled, but my income did not. Now, we had an amazing first year. There are retailers all over who would be envious of our first year, but in the same regard, we did not double our sales, and so we knew that was going to happen. So we didn't go into it blind, but it was a little bit of a slap in the face because it was like you felt like you were on this, wave of all this success. And then you started paying all the bills that came in whenever you opened that second store. It was like, oh, crap,
Yeah.
And so we've actually just being on top of things, and we opened the second store. We went lightly into the furniture business, and we are about a year into that. We saw the writing on the wall a little bit and did a big pivot, almost 100% into the pivot of going directly into the housewares business, knowing our industry. I'm in Northern Idaho. Our Pier 1, Bed Bath & Beyond, Joann's, and Macy's are all now gone. And so we have pivoted away from the furniture and more into the housewares, table linen, stemware. We want to be the place where we want to save everybody in Coeur d'Alene a trip to Spokane, Washington to go get all the things that they want. So, but I would have to say that it was getting big and then all of a sudden doubling our expenses.
Yeah. That's tough. Yeah, what about you?
I don't think we've really faced any big challenges. I mean, as we've grown, we've had to hire more people, but we have not added any locations.
Right.
So we've grown in our same location. So I don't really feel like we've faced any big challenges. Social media has really helped us get our message out. And I think that's really brought a lot more people to our store. And we talked about this a little bit last year. We have a pretty high level of Google reviews.
Yes. Very high level. Like, what are you at right now?
Almost 2,200.
Yeah. Like 5-star,
5-star, and almost 2,200.
Yeah.
So we literally have people who are driving from an hour and 2 hours away. So we're actually able to grow within our same little footprint of a downtown landlocked building.
Right.
And so really our challenges are just adding to the staff in order to help handle the business.
Yeah. So good. Yeah. Right.
Good problem to have.
I'll take it. Yeah. No kidding. So right now, retailers are experiencing a lot of change, rising prices, uncertainty, the evolving consumer behaviors. How are you personally feeling about this? And what's one specific thing you're doing to focus your business right now as you're navigating through all of this? Go ahead, Barb.
I think we're just focusing on our bread and butter. So for us, it's engagement rings. And that's what happens with the Google reviews. I mean, people are getting engaged. They don't have a jewelry store. They don't have a family jeweler. They Google and they find us. So for us, it's just focusing on what is our bread and butter, which is engagement rings. We like to have current trends in our showcases, but in a time where things might be a little uncertain, I just don't go as heavy into them. Like the earrings that you have on are a very current trend, and I just bought them at a show. And so I just don't go as heavy. And we're just a little more cautious.
Yeah. And so for us, we've always done this, but we're really going heavy now is clienteling. So focusing on the customers that we do have. So we have always clienteled, and we'd have a book at each store, a binder at each store where our managers would write down stuff about clients and reach out to them and do one-on-one outreach. We write thank you letters to everyone that shops in store that joins our Cozy Club program. It's from the sales associate that has helped them. It mentions what they bought. Was it for a vacation? Was it for a medical issue, whatever it was? We are very personalized that way. And then we also then transitioned to using Nick. And so we work with him at one shop, and that's allowed us to just do it quicker and easier, his clienteling program. But we're focusing on what we have. So there's also a bunch of retailers in our area, sadly, that have closed recently. And I've always looked at them and been like, oh, they have so many followers. And which they're great, and we love them, and we're very sad, but it's also not always about getting more. It's focusing on what you have and nurturing the people that you do have, because that's what matters most. And then another thing that we're really working on is our email segmentation. Email is our best platform by far. And so just making sure that we're not hitting everyone with the same thing and making sure everything is kind of niched down to people.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys if you haven't listened to Miranda's podcast, actually, they've all been on the show. You should listen to all 3 episodes. I should have put that up there. But if you search for their names, because you're doing so much in your community and you're doing some cool things with email. And then Beth talks more about her events. So I really recommend listening to all 3. Go ahead, Beth.
So I would say, and I've had this conversation with Dorothy Belshaw, with Cindy Morrison, and different people at the different markets. We spent more time this year turning over price tags at market. In the past, we would walk into a showroom and would be like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. And, put 3 in my cart, or, and we just kind of bought without that consideration. And my store is in a higher end resort community. And so we have a more affluent customer, but they are being more price conscious. And so what we did, we're anticipating profit margins. We're focusing more on, it's one thing to have a, multi-million-dollar store, but it's like, what is your profit? And so in focusing really more on profit margin, we turned more price tags over, and we looked at it and went, okay, that's going to be 110. We could probably bring it down to 99. And we used that to make more decisions this year than we've ever used it to make.
Okay. Which is smart. Really smart. Yeah. I have huge news. The Independent Retailers Association is live. We are so excited to announce that this online community is here to support independent retailers. We believe that it is the independent era. This is your time to shine. You have so many advantages to stand out, to grow customer experience, to get found online, to be a modern retailer that is relevant to today's consumer. And we want to help aid you in all of that, which you'll find on the Independent Retailers Association. Now, we call it IndERA, short for Independent Era. This is your era, and we're here to just amplify that with you and with all the other independent retailers who are inside of our community. So if you want to join us, membership starts as low as just $25 a month to join the community, get access to education, resources done for you, AI training, and more. Head to joinindera.com. That's join, INDERA.com to see the different membership levels and learn about what we are up to. So I would love to see you on the inside and love to help you grow your store. So head on over to joinindera.com and let's get back to the episode. Okay, now we have a couple of minutes to do a little bit of rapid fire. I'm going to ask a couple questions quickly. All right, this is a good one. Do you have a personal success habit or routine that keeps you feeling inspired, energized, and positive even when things get tough? Go ahead, Beth.
Yeah, I like to go for a walk, and I'm a multitasker, so my brain will let me listen to a podcast or a book if I'm walking, because we're checking off 2 boxes. And I am a Rooted in Retail listener, and at the resilience round at the end, every resilience round best book that has ever been mentioned is in my queue on Audible.
Love it.
So I'm either listening to a podcast or I'm listening to a book when I walk.
Yeah, I do love that answer. Yes, that's so good. Yes. What do you about you?
So mine would be, I've mentioned it already, love to systemize stuff. So when things get tough, I have an agenda that I've made myself. It has everything I could possibly ever need in there. My weekly to-dos, my monthly to-dos, my meeting notes, everything's in there. And again, when things get tough, it's easy to fall off track. It's easy to not want to do stuff, and it keeps me on track. I go through page by page, and it just allows me to then not have to think about it, and just keeps me on track, I guess. Because it is easy to, again, wallow and
sure
things are tough. So it just, helps me keep on track.
Yep. Good. What about you, Barb?
I decided a while back to take care of myself first. So eating a healthy diet at 60 years old, 5 years ago, I decided to start running, getting restorative sleep at night.
Yeah.
So those kind of things help me stay even keeled. They help me handle a tough situation as long as I'm staying on track. And then I like short little bursts of motivational things. I get an email from a man named Chris Doris, and I don't know if anybody's ever heard of him, but it's a daily email, and it's just common sense about being positive and about mindset. And it's, a sentence or two. It's really easy, quick, motivational. Sometimes I print them and stick them on my wall for.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. That's awesome. Okay. We're going to ask my favorite question in the resilience around mine, which is such an important one, which is, what do you think the future of independent retail looks like? I'll start with you.
I think it's strong. Nobody does it better than we do, right?
Amen.
A big box store is not going to know its customers by name. It's not going to really care like we care. I think that the shop small movement is strong.
Yeah.
I think people believe in us. They want us in their communities, and they know that we support their communities. And I think we're going to win.
Yeah, I agree completely. I think that showing your personality, small business, getting on there and showing your face, and just having fun with it. We love to have fun and show that to our customers, and they love to have fun with us. And that is not something you see at big box stores, and it makes people want to shop with you. It is a hard job being an entrepreneur and a business owner. And so having fun with it allows your customers to have fun with you, and they want to support people that it's like, then you're becoming their friend, right? So I think it is a positive time coming.
Yeah, for sure.
I agree. Maya Angelou says people will forget what you said. They'll forget what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel. And we have the most unique opportunity to make people feel when they come in our stores.
Yeah.
And I think it's what sets independent retail apart from all of the big box stores and from online. And do it from your heart, and we will win.
It's so true. Oh my goodness. Give it up for our panel. Thank you so much for listening to the Rooted in Retail podcast. It means the world to me to have you here. If you find value in this show and you listen on an iPhone, if you could leave a review on the Apple Podcast app, that would be amazing. And if you watch YouTube, if you're a YouTube subscriber, we film this. And so if you rather watch the show, you can also do that over on YouTube. Again, thank you for listening, and I'll see you on the next episode.